Happy New
Oh
Year!
yeah! Happy New Year! Look at the
Hey,
queen.
you over there rolling the L?
Come on. We
Let me
really,
grab
we,
me
we,
a
we really at home right now. We really at home. Happy New Year. Let's put one in the air for the people. You know, I got my little bit of weed, just in case
Damn!
this goes long, I just got a little something to smoke on, while we chill or whatever. But yeah. So happy New Year, y'all.
Well, damn, I hope I got everything in arm's reach, because from the waist up, I'm looking like a fox, Jana.
Thank you.
The bottom half is slippers and champion sweatpants.
That's hilarious. That's how the newscasters and shit used to do it back in the day. They throw a motherfucking a suit jacket on the top and have motherfucking sweatpants on under the damn the desk and shit.
How's everybody doing?
I really do not care. I do not care. This was a gift from my daughter. Actually, my daughter at midnight will be her birthday. So let me just give a pre-happy birthday shout out to my daughter Nia, who will be turning 20 on 1/11, y'all. Now, anybody that knows the science of spiritual numbers will be like, wow, 1/11 is kind of deep. Yeah, I know, but I'm a spiritual person. My son was also born on the 7th, which is the God Day. These are not accidents, people. Yeah. These are
and
not
I was born on Born to Born.
Okay, all being born to born. And I'm born on the knowledge God day, because that's what I do. I have the knowledge of God and I use it to build and destroy. So that being said, we've been on hiatus, for like 2 weeks?
Yeah. Actually closer to 3. Well, the show broadcasting, yeah. We weren't physically filming during the week of Christmas, but the good folks at home got to still see us.
Thanks to my man Rage. First of all, shout out to my man Rage, who put together the excellent recap show. Everybody at home, clap it up for my nigga Rage.
I'm humble. Thank you very much. I'm humble. Thank you.
That was a great job. Yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Appreciate it.
I laughed. I felt the energy of the year, and I think we did a lot of good things. We just surpassed 60,000 subscribers just before that New Year's rang in. You know what I mean? So 60,000 in 1 year ain't nothing to sneeze at. Shit, my number one, I'm gonna keep it real. My number one supporter is my man Chinese Puff Daddy, who's gonna be here next week, actually, here in New York. And he'll be on the show. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. That man hit a nigga off with like $5,000 to help start this whole shit off. So I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all right now. Okay? So for me to get cameras and lights and all this type of shit. And this is a man, I ain't even grow up with this man like that. All right. Now my second biggest donor would have to be the one and only Gypsy Posh by Tosh, Freddie Sharkey. Okay. This sister, she just steadily puts her money where her mouth is, and she supports, damn near on a weekly basis to the show, and we love her, and we have to shout her out. We have plenty other people that support. Those are people that really, though, went beyond the call of duty, and I really just want to acknowledge them by name. But I acknowledge anybody. I don't care if you gave $1. Thank you, and we're going to keep this thing going.
5,000, 5,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,500, 6,500, 6,500.
Okay.
Now quarter.
Like, this shit takes money to do. So before we get into all the topics, like, I'm just gonna be as transparent as I feel is appropriate at this time. Until further notice, we are not going to be filming at the studio we were filming previously. The people over there, I know you used to see a logo when the show first started, Hall Mills Network. Shout out to most people that work there, but there's just one guy there. There's always one that, when something brilliant is happening or somebody's trying to do something positive for the people or what, there's always that one guy that just gotta put some negativity in the mix.
The devil always hard at work.
Devil is always hard at work. There'll always be those that try to put stumbling blocks in your path. Now, if you allow these people to make you fall, or if you do fall and you don't dust yourself and get up, that's on you. You know what I mean? But I'm the type that I just hop over stumbling blocks that put before me. I don't allow them to trip me up and all that type of shit. I'm a very agile motherfucker. So that being said, y'all need to hit up a guy named Cornelius Grimm Whitaker and let him know that he fucked up by basically trying to be greedy. Let him know that the Godcast was the best thing that his fucking network ever saw and probably ever will see. And, whatever the case may be, we're not fucking with Hall Mills Network anymore. And we're going to be moving on to some next shindigs. No pun intended. But, that's what it is, man. You know what I mean? Dudes want to act funny. Or, you know what I mean? We out here trying to do this for the people. We are funded by the people. A lot of this is coming out straight out of my pocket and all of that. And you got people that feel like maybe there's being some money made that's being hidden and all this type of shit. Like, trust me, every dollar is going in. Shout out to my man Harold. Shout out to Alex, Cameron, all the people that really did work on the show. We're going to miss y'all, but you riding with them, you can't ride with us. So that being said, I'm not even going to dwell on it anymore. Just know that we're going to be up in the next spot very soon. But right now, we in between. You know what I mean? We in between homes, I guess. But with beautiful technology that we have these days, we could still be all together in the motherfucking Godcast as we are right now. Shout out to all my YouTube people. Shout out to everybody in the shindig right now. And I could smoke L's and shit. Drink my coffee. So that being said, let's talk, y'all. What's good? What's up, man? Let's talk.
Stuff to discuss.
Let's get it in. Like, I'm sure everybody wants to know, what's going on? What does the Godcast think about Aura Kelly? Now, you got to say Aura because black people say Aura. Like, we don't just say R. Kelly. We would say Aura, just like we say liked it and shit like that. That's Aura Kelly. So, what's up with all this Aura Kelly shit going on?
I would say I did watch the series. I watched all 6 episodes. I think we all knew he was a piece of shit from early on. I think we're all guilty of constantly ignoring the signs. All the way up until I would say episode 5, where it started getting into like the present day victims, is where I started scratching my head, because I just feel like there was enough, a plethora of red flags and information and just warning signs alone. So I feel for the women that were of age entering a consensual relationship with R. Kelly. You know, I hate to say that people ask for abuse, but it just seems like they walked into that situation with, you know, with full knowledge of what he was about. So and even a lot of these parents that were speaking, I feel like, you know, you knew, even if, you know, if you're, I don't ever want to blame the children. Like I never want to victim shame any child. And even, you know, even though 18-year-old is a legal age, you know, we know there are 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds that still don't have the wherewithal to function as a normal capable adult. Having said that, the older women and even the more so the parents, I just felt like you guys should have definitely been a little more on point as far as what you were dealing with. You were signing up to, you know, try to pursue some musical endeavors and things of that nature, and then things went left. Like, I don't understand how it went from 0 to 100, but it just seems like everybody was rolling. So I you know, once it got to like episode 5 and 6, I had to really start sitting back and just saying to myself, like, I don't know if everybody's a total victim here. Like, some of this stuff seems like it could have been avoided. And you know, and that is not to take away, you know, the fact that R. Kelly is a predator and should be held totally accountable. But at the same token, I think a lot of, you know, a lot of the victims, especially the more recent ones, should take some accountability as well.
Well, here's the thing. I think this thing is like an onion with many different layers to it, you know?
So many layers.
So many layers. Cause like, you know, first of all, we've known that R. Kelly was a piece of shit for a very long time. You know what I mean? As far as his proclivity for underage girls. This was something that was kind of almost, this was known even in the industry before it was even kind of popular. Okay.
Right.
Now, one of my questions is, since we have known all of this for all of this long, why now? Why now are we pulling R. Kelly out when we got all these other fucking white pedophiles and Me Too masters and molesters and shit like that out here who have closet and shit like that? Like, why are we pulling out another black man to focus on? Also, you know, I agree with you. Like, these women, well, especially these girls, especially these underage girls, are definitely victims. But if you listen to what R. Kelly says, so was he. He was a victim of molestation. So part of my question is, when does a victim stop being a victim? Okay? Because, yeah, a lot of victims might turn to victimizers, but is that a symptom of them being a victim? You see what I'm saying? Like, when do we start When does a victim take accountability for themselves? You see what I'm saying?
I think the problem, because I am seeing that discussion a lot. Like, are we taking it into consideration that R. Kelly was victimized as well? I think the problem that people are having with viewing R. Kelly as a victim is because of the lengths that he went through to conceal it. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, for instance, when we watched the Michael Jackson interview and he was being asked repeatedly, do you think it's appropriate for a man your age to be in bed with young children? And he really innocently stared at the camera and said, yes. Like, he was asked that question 2 or 3 different times in like multiple forms, and his answer was still yes. Like, in his heart, he really didn't see a problem with that. Now, take someone like R. Kelly. Like, not only does he realize that, yes, I'm doing something wrong, he has a whole staff of people going out of their way to forge documents, cover up things, book flights. It's like, you're being a piece of shit and you're going to the extremes to cover it up. So it's like, okay, you are fully aware that you're doing something crazy. It's not an innocent thing like you've just been traumatized your whole life, so you don't really see anything wrong with this behavior. Nigga, you fucking up right now. That's why I think people are having a hard time calling him a victim.
Well, he did try to say he don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. He said he didn't see nothing wrong, just like Michael Jackson didn't see nothing wrong with sleeping little boys. But we all see something wrong with both of those scenarios.
Exactly.
With a grown man sleeping in the bed with little kids that ain't his, and I see something wrong with bumping and grinding with little 14 and 17-year-olds. Yeah, I see something wrong with all of that shit.
We definitely saw something wrong, but I'm asking you to compare, Michael Jackson's mind state, whereas like he really wholeheartedly didn't feel like he was doing anything wrong, whereas R. Kelly not only knows he's doing something wrong, he's spending absurd amounts of money and going through great lengths to cover it up. That's why I'm saying it's hard. I guess it was easier to empathize with Michael's situation than it is with R. Kelly's situation.
Now, I don't want anybody to empathize with R. Kelly, first of all. I'm just saying that in this climate that we live in.
Well, no, I do empathize.
Hypocritical motherfuckers. And for me, I believe that at times victims do have culpability in their victimization, depending on the circumstances. And you can't always blanketly say a victim has no culpability in some shit that happens. You understand? But that's the way don't victim shit. Well, if that's your reasoning, if that's your true way of thinking, then I guess you can't blame R. Kelly, can you?
I have a pressing question. Okay. Can we take a forensics approach to this? One of the problems I have.
Yes, that was a plug. Let's create a good plug. Show coming soon. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. My problem is I don't like being goaded along through production and being told when to be incensed and not to be incensed. We've been off R. Kelly a long time ago. I didn't need a documentary.
On it, dog.
You see what I'm saying? But
that's what I'm saying about why now? Why now?
Why not? I have a problem with that. So when somebody's like, hey, be mad now, I'm like, wait, no, why be mad now? Wait, pause. Now, I need to take, again, a forensics approach in this. Let's find out exactly where to put the blame and how much blame to put on what. For instance, what do we constitute as the legal age of consenting adults? Are we going by American standards? Are we going by biblical standards? African standards, Eastern standards. See, that's a controversial. It's a controversy. Now, once you pick the standard you're going on, then you have to start applying the social legal part. And is the village going to attack his ass, or is the legal system what's going to do what? You know what I'm saying? So my concern is like, where do we start with that? That's the first thing that really gets at me. And the second thing is, unfortunately, man, anytime somebody brings truth to me, like in a box with a ribbon, I have a problem. There's so much complicity in this shit because I've seen this type of stuff before. And it exposes the ugly in society. I've seen women present their children into a situation that was exploitive, knowing exactly what environment they were bringing them in.
Exactly.
Come on, man. I've seen it. I know people.
Listen, there's women that have sold their children for crack, for heroin. You think that there's not women out here that would sell their children for a record deal, for a Mercedes Benz, a diamond ring? Like you think that they wouldn't do that because they don't look like crackheads or some shit like that? I'm telling you that we live in such a piss poor moral society that absolutely they would do some shit like that.
But even on a hardship level, Jay, it doesn't have to necessarily be sales. Sometimes a mother might just say, listen, either you're going to struggle like me, your grandma did, auntie did down the road, and your cousin have a shit life, or you're going to woman up, you know what I'm saying? Go deal with the situation and potentially have a better. Hey, I don't know. Life is not black and white, man. It's not black and white. So yeah, I'm still like crucify R. Kelly, but it's still at the same time, I feel like there's a wider expose at place. You know
it's like I know certain grown ass women that can't withstand a real nigga's game. You understand what I'm saying? So for like a grown man to use his game on a little child, that's what's truly exploitive to me, because that's the reason why children can't enter into like contracts and vote and shit like that, because someone with more experience can definitely manipulate the situation. And just think about how manipulative he could have been with these young girls. Like, first of all,
and I do want to give, some of these parents the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I know when I was a young girl, I was determined to get a record deal at any cost. My parents, they didn't have any clue of what was going on in the music world. They, they were emphatic about me finishing college. So while they were paying for college, I was running back and forth to folks' basement trying to, record demos and things like that. So I don't want to just, and I at first I was very, harsh, opinionated about the parents, because I do feel at some point, once the name R. Kelly was even mentioned, that should have sent off all types of bells and whistles. But in their defense, I will say that, you do have kids, as a youngin', you know how to pull a wall, you know how to go behind your parents' back and pull a wall over their eyes. So I can't say that every parent just sold their kid off to R. Kelly, but I definitely feel like I don't know how they could sit back and I don't want to say like let it happen, but at some point somebody should have been getting fucked up. Like, there's no way.
Let me ask you something, Digga, as a sister and all that in the music industry. How old were you when you were rhyming and you started to wanted to pursue this really as a career? How old were you?
Wow. Okay. I've been telling myself since the age of 12 I was going to put a record out. But when I started actively like hitting the street, I'm going to say 15. I was going to the new music seminar in New York.
So you're 15 now. You're 15. You're a cute little slimmy. Was niggas trying to fuck? was niggas trying to fuck.
No booty. I was a string bitch.
I don't care if you don't have no booty. Was niggas trying to fuck? Like, let's keep it real. And niggas that was older than 16. Was niggas that was older than 16 trying to, did you ever have to be like, yo, you know, I don't really like you like that, but niggas.
Well, like how many times a day? How many times a day?
Was that going on? You in basements around niggas and shit like that, smoking blunt, drinking 40s? Is niggas trying to fuck?
Honestly, they weren't. They weren't. I think the way I think the energy I gave off.
I believe that. I believe that. Yes.
Let niggas know that, like, no, I'm real serious about this rhyme shit. But outside of that, there were definitely some creeps. Like I remember being 16, and you know, I met a guy. He was short. I didn't realize how much older he was, and he ended up being like 20. He ended up being 24 years old. He was 24 years old. And yeah, he thought he was going to get him some. And
almost the whole pen.
I'm like, oh, bruh, I'm a virgin. It ain't happening. I ain't never hear from dude again. But yeah, there was some lurkers.
Where they at now, Digger? You know where they stay?
I don't know.
I got to take them off of here. That's right. I got to take them off of here. There's only one, and that's me.
Probably somewhere watching one of my videos. Like, damn, I played myself. I should have just.
I could have had that
a little bit longer.
I could have had that. Oh man. But yeah, like
I think I was scaring folks away because I was like real like adamant about being like a virgin forever.
Okay.
Well, I've been speaking while we're here, Jamar, because I've actually been speaking to a few different women about this topic, and you know, there are some girls that feel like, you know, they were fast, they were promiscuous at that time, and they say, hey, you know, we played ourselves for way less, so you know, the opportunity to work with a R. Kelly and, you know, possibly rise to stardom, you know, it seems like a easy pitch to some girls. So like there was, like, me personally, I couldn't see how they were getting themselves in that situation, but I think it's because of the mindset that I have. But speaking with different females that have different circumstances, you know, maybe there was an absentee father, maybe there was that, I guess, that sense of having to really take care of themselves, like not having those parental figures actively involved in their lives like that, and really just kind of turning outside of the home for role models and guidance and support. So, you know, it was explained to me that it is very easy to find, easier than you think to find yourself in a situation like that.
Now I heard that this man had a birthday party just last night.
Oh, he was turned up.
And they said Bros was talking about, take me, like lock me up, like
hey,
me. Like, what kind of world do we live in, y'all? Like, what's going on? What's going on?
I'm not surprised. It is what it is.
Let me ask the room this question. Do you think that because most of these victims are Black women and Black girls is largely the reason why this has gone on, you know, for so long?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do you think for one moment, if on that tape we would have saw R. Kelly pissing on the face of a blonde hair, blue-eyed little,
if there were any Beckys in the house, the whole house would be brought down.
Probably been in the electric chair. Like he would have got the death penalty for some shit like that. They not gonna let no shit like that happen. R. Kelly pissing on a white girl's face, or it would have been swift justice. It would have been swift justice. So absolutely, the fact that all black people's lives, and I guess this is why they say whatever that Black Lives Matter, but black lives to these white people are not as valuable or important as white people's lives. So, who cares if this guy is, got a sex cult full of young, impressionable black women. Just don't do it with no young, impressionable white.
So let me say this. I was going to ask Digger in terms of the father scenario you referenced. Well, how does a male victim weigh under those circumstances, number one? And number two, you can't intelligently talk about, the R. Kelly victimization culture without examining church culture, because a lot of abuse is going on in the church. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I always tell dudes, honestly speaking, from my experience, when a dude tell me, oh, his wife is taking up church and she's going to church, I'm like, dude, your marriage is over. It's done. You got problems, man.
Because so let's talk about that. Y'all want to be all mad at R. Kelly, but yet you running up, a lot of y'all running up in the Catholic Church. And that is not just the Catholic Church. We know this. Like a lot of
Bishop Goodwood, they getting it into
going on, where a lot of these little young homosexual boys are being bred because they're being molested by these so-called priests and pastors who took a vow of celibacy, yet they're dealing with these little boys. What's up with that?
This is one of those instances where, I don't even want to put a color on it, because I've seen a lot of people say, why y'all doing this to R. Kelly because he black? What about the white? Like, this is really one of those instances where line all them motherfuckers up. The white ones, the black ones, the green ones, the brown ones, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. Hey, matter of fact, there's somebody that
I'm sorry, that's Mercury. That's Mercury. I'm sorry.
You just
I was trying to bring up on. Yeah, because she went away and you told me to bring up. I wasn't gonna have a talk yet, but I'll think Cam's ready. Okay.
Well, I say line them all up.
I stopped it.
Okay. Go ahead, Dickinson.
No, I was saying line them all up. But no, I was actually getting ready to go into another one of our topics, but I want to make sure that we're all here before I bring up this next story that actually came across my radar in the midst of all of these R. Kelly discussions.
Okay, we here.
Okay. So there is a guy by the name of Ed Buck, who is, to my understanding, he's a very rich and powerful white man who I don't know if he's actually in politics. I believe he's titled as
look him up, fact checker. Who's Ed Buck?
He's known as a political donor. I guess he contributes heavy to the Democratic Party. So it has come to my attention that he is being referenced as the new Jeffrey Dahmer right now. This man has been
Jeffrey Dahmer. He's eating motherfuckers. Didn't Jeffrey Dahmer eat people?
Aside from eating them, short of eating them, he's he's luring young gay black men back to his home. Most of them are addicted to crystal meth, and basically he's getting them back to his home and he's performing torturous experiments on them. And there was actually two that are known men found dead in his apartment. The second one was just found in his apartment maybe a week ago or sometime this past week, and there are no charges being brought against him. His MO is mostly younger men, but the gentleman that was found this week is Timothy Dean, age 55, and these are black gay men who are turning up dead in Ed Buck's apartment, like in his crib, not on the corner, not down the street, like in the crib. So I guess the first one, okay, considered overdose, maybe. The second one is like, come on, what's the what's the chances of two people ODing in your crib? And then between those two instances, you have various people reporting his activities, and he's lurking at gay bars, and he's scoping folks out and reeling them in, and doing things to them. So that is something that's happening right now, and
you feel because he's like a big donor in the Democratic Party that somehow he's not being brought to justice because of his political affiliations. Is that what we're trying to insinuate here?
I'm insinuating because his victims are gay black men who are considered to be drug addicts. His activities are getting swept under the rug, just like R. Kelly's activities.
Yeah. Hopefully, homeboy's brought to justice. I mean, what the fuck? That's crazy. How the fuck you out here? And how he's doing torturous experiments? What happened? They found you know what I mean?
Well, because there are a few different victims that said that he's injecting them with stuff, and I guess they're making their way out. But mind you, we have two victims that died from from the same mysterious cause. I'm assuming maybe they're probably getting high consensually with him, possibly, but for the extent that the stories that are coming out, it's like he's getting them high, and then like he's doing stuff to them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a day at the office. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very, I don't want to say it's early in development, because apparently it's been going on for about a year, but it's starting to become more and more publicized. And it would just be crazy if, like, 2 years from now, we do hear some crazy shit like, oh, he was eating these motherfuckers. Like how many victims we don't know died in the crib. It's like, like I'm pretty sure, like, when the Jeffrey Dahmer thing was happening, it's like, oh wow, he having all these men in and out the house, and it didn't seem like anything like astronomical. It just seemed like, okay, he's into something weird. He's got guys in and out the crib. But then you find out years later, damn, he was eating all these motherfuckers the whole time. It's like, who's to say that we're not going to find this out about this guy down the line? Right now, we know that folks are ending up dead, and nothing's happening to this man. He's not even being brought in for questioning.
Let me ask you this, generally speaking, Digger. Is anything going to surprise you in 2019?
Nothing surprises me. I remember when I thought Sarah Palin being the vice president was like the worst shit ever that could happen in America. Nothing surprises me now.
Remember that shit? And they outrun us with making a nigga Trump the actual president. Not vice president. He's the actual president.
Remember when you was like, oh my God, how fucked up would this country be? She's so stupid. If she becomes our vice president, oh my God.
Remember when we thought Baby Bush was the worst that it could be? That little George Bush, George W., was the dumbest president in history.
Oh my God.
Right.
Jay, I got to take a quick for what you just said. Listen, I recommend everybody go see this movie called Vice, starring Christian Bale, formerly Batman. He's playing Dick Cheney in this movie called Vice. And Jesus Christ, they go to town about how that whole
He shot a person, right? Like trap shooting.
And
he shoot somebody,
boom, in the face. And then the dude apologized to him for getting shot.
Oh, I thought that person died. Oh wow.
No, he didn't die. No, he apologized promptly. But in the movie, and guess what the saying "Make America Great" comes from? It doesn't come from Trump. Reagan said it.
I'll make America great again.
Yeah, Reagan is the first MAGA. But the movie documents how Dick Cheney, through his corporate intrigue and Halliburton, how he really ran the country, and George Bush Jr. he's a figurehead, man. I mean, they make fun of it,
I just hit up your girl Mercury to see if her camera's ready. She didn't hit me back. Oh, she said yes. Okay. Listen, I'm gonna bring up Mercury because I had a conversation with Mercury.
I would love to get back from some.
You bring it up, or you want me to bring it up? You bring it up.
I'll bring her up right now. I'll bring her up. This is Mercury, the personality, everybody.
Hello.
She got her own show, matter of fact. What's up, Mercury?
Hi,
Look
Jamar.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Sandwich. How you doing?
She just called you Sandwich. Big
I put it in there. I put it in there as a joke when I was testing the room. I forgot the eraser. My name is Rage. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Big Sandwich.
Nah, that's Rage, Big Sandwich. Fuck that. We might be calling him Big Sandwich from now on. You did it to yourself. You did it to yourself.
I'm actually the industry and all of that stuff. Well, I feel like if I can interject, I feel like the industry hypersexualizes children, So when Beyonce came out, she was about 14. When Chris Brown came out, he was about 14. When Tina Marie, we could just keep naming, so many artist names that came out when they were young and they were bumping and grinding and they were singing songs that were sexual and in nature, and adults were listening to them. And what were these adults doing? What were you thinking, when you're looking at these pictures of these young children looking, sexual, so it's just very weird and strange that we go away from the pedophilia. I was talking about it earlier. I was saying, if anyone is looking at someone from the ages of birth to 19 and you're 25 to 80, damn near dead, and you're looking at them in a sexual manner, or you're having sexual relations with this age group, then it's perverted. And if you want to go all around that, then I find that strange in and of itself.
No, I actually wanted to hear a male opinion before we moved away from the topic. So good. I'm glad.
Let me do the knowledge on this real quick.
Bill,
okay.
Now look, R. Kelly, right? He was raped by his sister when she was 15.
Definitely.
So every time he sees a woman, he sees a 15-year-old. You understand? He's been fucked up. So he has to have mental counseling. And not only that, he's a symbol of this nation, how we've been molested. I've been molested. My wife been molested. We've been molested. And we need to confront this. And this is the only reason why God is allowing us to see this now. Because it needs to be addressed. R. Kelly is a symbol to us all. We need to, like we all said, where was we at? Well, we had to grow up as a nation. We were young, man. Now, as a nation, we're growing up. Hip hop is 44, 45 years old. Okay. And we have been the leaders of this world. So let's all grow up and let's address this molestation thing, because they've been doing it since the fall of the Anunnaki. They've been molesting us. So we've been oppressed since the beginning. Okay. So I just want to say, in all truth, about this R. Kelly thing, it's just a sign to us to wake up. All right. R. Kelly, he only sees a 15-year-old girl when he sees one, because he was fucked up as a child. So let's take that into consideration, and let's say your music, I don't want to hear that shit right now. Let's talk about that.